Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Splitting Hairs with Max, Nicky, and Nickon. As usual, I'm Max.
I'm Nicky.
I'm Nickon.
And
together
we
are
Max, Nicky, and Nickon.
We did it.
We did it.
Yep.
It
All
worked.
right. Great.
For those of you who are just joining in, last week we were saying, for those of you just tuning in, this is Splitting Hairs with Max, Nicky. Anyway, you guys, it is actually the day of the Oscars.
It is
today.
Oscars Day, if that's important to anybody, even though
Oh boy.
it's not really actually that
You know,
important.
it's interesting. Out of
Are
the
either of you up for anything?
I'm up for best podcast host for the Oscars.
Actually, this is the first year. Well, not the first year, but there are 10 movies nominated for Best Picture, and I've seen 8 out of 10 of them, which
Wow.
is pretty good, I think.
That's pretty good, Nicky. I mean,
And the other 2, I don't really care to watch, actually. So,
What are the 2? How are you so passionate about not watching 2?
one of them's the Avatar movie.
You gotta know what everybody's talking about.
I guess
nobody's really. I haven't heard anyone really talk about that.
All
movie,
the
actually.
people. You gotta know what all the people are talking.
I actually
raving
never
about.
watched the first Avatar.
Oh, you didn't?
I know. It became a thing that I kept prolonging it, and I was like, you know what? I'm just never going to watch this, especially because, both my brothers said,
Well, sure.
oh, Max doesn't want us to criticize or be critiquing new movies on here.
Why not?
Well, no, I just,
What?
what if I
What
happen
if James
upon?
Cameron,
What if James Cameron?
wants to book you for something?
What if I saw him and he's like, I looked into you. I saw that podcast of yours.
I was on that live stream
Yeah, right.
on Sunday, March 12th at 3:40 p.m. on a Sunday. Before
What
the
else would he be
Oscars.
doing on the Oscars day?
Yeah.
Watching Splitting Hairs with Max, Nicky,
If
and
anything,
Nickon.
now is the time. Now is the time to talk trash about all those movies because none of those people are going to be
Well,
watching.
this is recorded and posted.
You don't
a
know
week
that.
later as
I'm
well.
very good friends, actually, with, the Daniels, the directors of Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I almost believed you. I was like, oh well, man, what are we doing here? Why aren't we?
I know, right?
Well, the Daniels are actually they're pretty young.
They're pretty
so
young,
that could be feasible.
I think
suppose.
they're in their mid-30s. And the other movie, which I would see, but I would like to see the original first, is All Quiet on the Western Front. I
feel like we
haven't
watched that in
seen
high
the one
school.
from the 30s before, but
Yeah.
I should watch that before watching this new one.
Have you been watching any of the movies, Nickon, that are nominated?
No, I'm. My life's been too chaotic to be able to go to the
Sure,
movies.
Nickon
You just went through a
but-
move. I mean, your
My
fiance
fiance just moved in. I have seen. Yeah, so that's still we're still in the process of that. You see some upside down furniture because there's no place to actually put it right now. So yeah, that's going to be a stressful another couple weeks or so, just unboxing things. But but the movies, I've only seen a couple. I think I've only seen Banshees of Inisherin, which I love.
Banshees of Ed Sheeran.
Banshees of Ed Sheeran is what we like to say.
Is there more to that or no?
No, it
it's
just sounds fun. It
sounds like Ed
it.
Sheeran.
Banshees of Ed Sheeran.
And what'd you
seems
think
like-
of that?
Seems like the beginning of a full on bit. I loved it. I loved that movie.
I liked it. All right. I liked it. All right.
What else is there? I don't know. Oh yeah, and then Everything All at Once, etc.
What'd you think about that?
I loved it. I was a really big fan of the Daniels from their shorts and from Swiss Army Man.
Army Man, yeah.
So I was expecting this movie to just like be mind-blowingly like, it was very cool for a mainstream crowd, but like I don't know. I was hoping it would like be philosophically a little more thought-provoking.
Nickon, I'm sort of right there with you. I appreciated the big swings it took, but
Yeah.
ultimately I thought it was good, but it didn't reach that great status for me, for person, But
Right.
I still I was entertained,
Totally. Yeah.
But actually, my favorite movie of the year, my top 2 were Triangle of Sadness, which I highly recommend watching.
Heard great things of that. Yeah.
And the second best movie for me of the year was Tar. really
I've
good.
heard great things about
Tar,
that
the
too.
biopic about comedian and DJ Nina Tar. Just kidding. That's a kind of an inside joke, unless you know who Nina Tar is, the comedian.
I do not, but I'm sure she found it funny.
But anyway,
Tar. It's actually I haven't seen a dinosaur movie that great since Jurassic Park. I'm just kidding. That's another stupid joke. Anyway,
Tar, La Brea Tar Pits, if anybody
well,
is
it doesn't have to be La Brea.
Sure.
Be just Tar.
Oh, wow. We got somebody on, Gemma Leslie apparently agrees with the either the Triangle of Sadness or Tar opinion. But anyway, cool.
We just watched Women Talking the other night, actually.
What's that? It's one of the movies.
It's one of the
we
movies.
sat in a restaurant and just watched women talking.
Oh, the bits, the jokes are coming out today.
Well, the jokes are coming out tonight.
Sunday.
We're trying them out on
It's the
the small
Oscars. They
audience
gotta
before the
come out.
Oscars.
Yeah, exactly.
We saw Women Talking. It's that's an interesting movie.
I've never even heard of this movie. Is that one of the foreign flicks or what? What is
No, it's
No,
actually
It's based on a true story of these Mennonite women that you should actually just look it up. I mean, it's
it? All right, yeah.
but they're in this kind of religious cult colony you should just look it up.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
Anyway, any station business. Station business. Bum ba-dum, station business. That's what it is right there.
There we go. Good save.
Just want to remind everybody that our next Vintage Basement show is on April 15th. It's a Saturday, 7 p.m. at Young Ethel's in Brooklyn, New York, if you're in the area.
Park Slope.
First time we are having a free of charge show for Vintage Basement. Of course, donations are accepted. And so look out for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Nickon and a station business for you.
No, just go out to onusoptics.com, buy as many sunglasses as you can. It'll protect your nose from the sun. You don't want to get skin cancer on your nose. There's nothing sexy about nose cancer. So go to Onus Optics and buy some sunglasses.
And you
And
want
there's everything sexy about the Onus sunglasses.
Oh,
and you want to get them
Guaranteed.
before they sell out because this summer's come just around the corner, guys.
It is right around the corner.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into it, guys. There's a reason why we haven't stated what the topic of debate is.
Well, no, hold on.
I'm sorry.
well,
I'm
wait
so
a
sorry.
sec.
Grammar Corner. Welcome to Grammar Corner, our segment where we pick apart our problems with trends in grammar and syntax, or the trendy problems of grammar and syntax.
Not necessarily trendy.
Not trend- not necessarily
that's just
trendy.
you projecting, Nicky, because
Yeah.
you hate the youth.
Kids these
these
days is
days.
the alternate name of this podcast as we've discussed before.
Well, I have a couple of things that I take issue with that I've come across in the past week. So do you mind if I share?
Sure.
No, please.
So they're bit related, but when I see people post something on social media, or even actually I've seen this on TV, they'll say, John, Max, and I at the beach. And I'm just thinking,
Wait, this is a discussion we've
This
already
is-
oh, no.
This
I'm
is
sorry.
really treaded
I'm sorry.
ground,
I'm sorry. I messed up. That's not what I meant. I meant they'll do this. They'll say John, Max, and I's trip to the beach. And that's really annoying because I'm like, why are you
First of
replacing
all,
my with
yeah.
I's? That's so bizarre. Have you seen this phenomenon?
I've seen this. I've heard about it.
It's so annoying. I'm like, why would you completely just disregard the usual word "my" for "eyes"? That's so weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird Welsh stuff.
It's you know what it is? It's because people they talk themselves into that corner. It's like
They talk themselves into the grammar corner.
it's like they're speaking the sentence,
Sure.
and then they get to I, and then they realize, but it's possessive, and you've already said I, so you just add the S, and then by the end of the sentence, you don't you've broken all kinds of
Sure.
rules.
It could also be as we've mentioned before, a hypercorrection instance, where you think I'm trying to use the correct grammar by using I, listing names and saying I, and then in doing so, you actually end up accidentally not doing the correct grammar. Hypercorrection, overcorrection.
In relation to that, I've seen on TV people go, John Max and he's game is really good. Like,
get out of here.
I saw it the other day and I thought, what the heck? Why did you replace his with he's? That's so weird and not correct, and it drove me nuts.
Mike, yes, Grammarly would solve the problem if we were only talking in text, but we're talking about verbal communication here.
For those of you just tuning in, this is Splitting Hairs with Max, Nicky, and Nickon, our podcast, and we're doing our segment on grammar right now called the Grammar Corner.
Also, Mike Weisberg, use your own brain. Don't rely on software to tell you what to say.
Oh, okay? So Mike Weisberg said something about Grammarly. Is that what the case was?
He said, if you use Grammarly, then it solves all the problems.
Jeff Samaria said, unfollow those people. Problem solved. Hey, Jeff,
that's a solution.
I haven't heard a better solution yet. You're right.
But again, we're talking about verbal communication.
We're talking about verbal communication.
Well, but also we did
because
mention that
would truly be psychotic if somebody wrote out a sentence saying Max, Nicky, and I's.
No, I saw that on Instagram. I've seen that on Instagram. That's what's weird about it, Nickon. That's what drives me nuts. Is they actually thought and wrote that out. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that's
actually, or unless you were following that person in real life and heard them say it in that instance, you should just stop following that person.
Yeah, you just veer off. You're like,
veer off.
I'm actually going to go home.
You were a stalker. And
I think I'm just going to go home at this point. Yeah.
That'd be funny if there was a stalker that got so annoyed by the person that they were stalking that they're like, you know what? I got it. I'm calling it quits on this. I don't like this person anymore. So in relation to that,
it's an interesting idea, Nicky, actually. That's kind of a funny sketch. I'm going to write that down.
Write it down.
In relation to that, I feel that it's really annoying when people go, and this is kind of related, is they'll go in a caption, they'll say, John, Nicky, and myself.
Wait, what's wrong with that?
John, Nicky, and myself at the beach. Why myself? What's up with that?
Well, no, sometimes
instead of me, they'll put myself. That's
people do that because they think they sound smart doing it.
No, I see, but you can say myself. There are other instances where myself does work, but you could say me, like or
yeah.
Now
although
I can
understand. It's funny in that in the
or maybe it was
group,
I or something.
What's that?
In the context of a group, it is kind of funny for it to be like this person, that person, and myself, because you usually say myself when you're referring to yourself alone. I don't know.
I know I've heard it in like a context where it's just maybe there's another person or something like that. I can't think of it right now for some reason, but I don't know. I'm just blanking right now, but
this is
maybe they're just thinking of me, myself, and I. Anyway, crickets. Crickets much?
That's
pretty good, Max.
That's pretty good, right?
What's your contribution to Grammar Corner?
It's more warbly than a cricket, but it's impressive. I like it.
It's more warbly. Okay.
I don't like it when the Brits and the Aussies and the like pluralize an entity that is comprised of multiple people. So they'll like when they say like Apple the company have hit 5,000 that's not a good example, but you know what I'm saying? Like instead of saying like Apple, a singular entity has hit on this, that, or the other, they say Apple have done this, that.
Do they do that?
Is that a thing they do?
Oh yeah, they do it all the time. It's infuriating. It's like
if I noticed it, it would drive me nuts.
Group A have, man, I don't have any good examples of this either. But it's Trust me, it sucks.
People on Instagram, do you know what Nickon is talking about? Do you get this phenomenon that he's talking about with
Nickon
Brits and Aussies?
Nickon seems to like British culture with the spellings and stuff. The favorite.
with the U.
Let's not extend it to their culture. I like the way they spell things. I don't know, just to say I dislike it, but
I know. I'm just teasing. I was teasing.
Yeah. Love their spellings. Hate the way they pluralize a big singular group.
Oh, Bryce Shell just said, should it be splitting hair instead of splitting hairs?
Excellent question.
And I don't agree because it's in each individual hair you're talking about. So you're splitting hairs rather than splitting your whole head of hair, so to speak, or your whole body hair.
It adds to the splitting, to the hair splitting nature of what
exactly, because it's
even more
so
tedious.
Exactly. Yeah. There you go.
Well, if you were splitting one hair, it would eventually become two split hairs, actually.
Yeah, right. True. But you're splitting the one hair.
No, sure. And we're talking about multiple things in any event.
Max,
in which case, we should start going on to our actual topic at hand, which is, we haven't actually discussed this, but we all thought this week we would bring in our own, topic, and then see if we can, I have a topic in mind.
Something lands. All right, let's hear it.
I was thinking, because Nicky is really into basketball a lot, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I kind of get annoyed as to how much he's obsessed with basketball, only because I have to hear constantly him listening to basketball interviews and stuff like that. Sports. I mean, is it worth it? What is it? I mean, just sports. It doesn't, it could be fun, but is it anything about sports? Let's
sports, playing them or watching sports?
Watching sports.
Let's narrow it to watching sports.
Yeah, watching sports. And we don't necessarily. We could do it as we've been doing always. Somebody
moderator and two debaters.
Yeah, but I thought maybe we could also just have a sort of a general conversation about the good things about it, the bad things, and what our personal opinions on it are, and or however we want to do that. Anyway, that's one topic idea.
Okay, that's an idea. I used to think, basically, I don't like or trust charming people anymore.
Well, I may as well just leave right now.
I might as well leave this place right now.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Not like people who I don't know. It used
are
to be
slick, kind of.
Not even slick, but who value. It seems like there's a certain personality that values being liked so much that they are. I don't know. I sound like a curmudgeon here, but they're
hey, join me in kids these days.
Complimentary, just going out of their way to make other people feel welcome and good about themselves.
I hate people like that.
Oh man, it's funny because I have no idea what you're talking about, and I really disagree with what you're saying. But in a way, maybe I do agree.
Because it's inauthentic.
I will say this, Nickon. There were these people when I was younger, when I was in college, that I was friends with, and they were too nice. It was almost like I couldn't be myself around them because I was afraid that they would, in a weird way, that I was being not nice enough around them. My true self wouldn't be nice enough for them. You know what I'm saying? But they seemed inauthentic. Being that nice.
Right. Exactly.
I know it's not charming, but
I think it's a thought I need to develop a little more.
So maybe we pass on that topic for now.
I think we pass on it. I'm not married to it right now. I think another interesting. This is just kind of a way I live my life. I like to constantly think of. I think it's good to always be reminded that you're going to die one day.
Oh, interesting.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting.
And I don't know if anybody feels like the opposite. Like it's better to be in.
That's a very that's a philosophical topic for us, huh?
Yeah. But some people are like, oh, you're so dark. You're always talking about death and you're always thinking about death. And it's like, it's not dark. It's kind of like a motivating, it's like it's a life affirming thing to constantly be reminded of your certain death at some point.
Wow, man, Ken Dark over here. It's funny because I've never
Well, not dark is what he's
Nickon,
saying.
I've never heard you. I've never heard you constantly talk about death before, and so for people to be saying that to you is kind of.
Oh yeah, I talk about it all the time. But again, I just like say it as like kind of like a throwaway. Like you're gonna die one day. You know that, right?
On a side note, teaching these kids in this after school program, this is a new expression that I've heard lately that kids do is they'll go kill yourself. They say that to each other
I've been
shut up, kill yourself.
Kill yourself. Yeah.
I'm like, that sounds horrible. God.
Kevin Hart used that in a special like 10 years. Like that's been around for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I know this is another tangent here. We haven't really
gotten settled on topic yet.
But I do want to say there is I recently read an article of slang or just these terms that Gen Z has been using that I some of these words I haven't heard before, or some of these terms. And one of them is that they've been using is send me. It sends me. And I thought, this is from the 50s. Oh, that thing really sends me. They've been using that nowadays, apparently.
That's from the 50s? I don't know.
Yeah, well
you
like
know
the Sam Cooke song, You Send Me, Darling, You Send Me. Anyway, that's old. They're like reappropriating that for today now. It's kind of interesting.
Well, I think I haven't heard this new or
I hadn't either, but I read this article.
But listen. I think it's based off of like ski culture, where it's like send it. Send it is like ascend is when you go out, like you take like a crazy
ski culture.
Yeah.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
For those of you just tuning in on Instagram,
you want to just address the comments in the
let's take a look at the
Instagram
comments
while we
real quick while we set that up. Let's see. We got who is this? Please describe. Is that a friend of yours, Nickon? Who do you think Future was? Oh, Future. Okay. Who do you think Future was referring to when he said, "Bitch so pretty, look better than Cassie"? I don't know at all. I gotta say that's kind of over my head. Cassie. When you say Cassie, I'm thinking of Big Mama Cass from the Mamas and the Papas. Cass Elliot.
You sound like such an old person.
I sound like some kind of boomer generation guy, you know.
I don't even like the term boomer. I
said boom.
Baby boomer.
I said, oh yeah, baby boomer. Sorry, you're right. I
don't know. That's just I've always.
Yeah, I hate the word. I do hate that. I hate people calling them boomers. It's baby boomers. Get it right. Thank you.
Toddler boomer.
Toddler boomer. Yeah, toddler boomer. You know, as you get older, infant boomer. You know,
infants before toddler.
Teenage boomer. Hey, hey, that's kind of a cool band name, Teenage Boomer.
That's kind of an interesting name. Yeah,
I like it.
And then, Nicky, did you have another topic here that you wanted to discuss?
You know, I don't have a topic in hand off top, but I do like the sports one.
Let's talk sports. But I think we should pick sides.
Okay,
I think we should stick to the format.
Well, because I think Max. Last week Nickon was the moderator, and the week before that I was the moderator.
I'll be the moderator. Sure.
Okay. And because this is a topic that, you know, I apparently I'm the only one who watches sports amongst the three of us.
No, I watch sports occasionally, but anyway,
I'll take the side of sports, being a sports pro, being pro sports, I guess.
All right.
And
Love
you
it.
can't.
And now we're talking watching sports, right?
We're talking
about sports spectatorship, which is such a waste of human.
This is what I like to hear, Nickon. This is what I like to hear.
And time. There's so much. Like,
I mean,
I don't think this is like,
I kind of lie in the middle, so it's good that I'm moderator.
I don't think this goes to your side, like is an argument for your side, but like
is this opening
I'm
argument
baffled
here?
by the fact that like Spike Lee, Jerry Seinfeld, like all these like people who I kind of respect, you know, are such sports fans. Like it's like, why would you waste so much of your time on this? Just like sitting around watching other grown adults play a game, making a ton of money, and like good for them. Listen, good for them for getting to play a game for like a living and make way more than most people will in a lifetime. Good for them, but like, Jesus, what a waste of human time and resources.
Well,
Sports
okay,
spectatorship.
Nickon, first of all, tangent. You said people you respect like Jerry Seinfeld and Spike Lee. Do you still respect Jerry Seinfeld after those pictures that came out of him wearing, posing in this sort of Gen Z outfits or just youthful outfits? They're so weird looking.
What are you talking about? Oh,
you haven't seen these pictures?
A year ago?
Yeah. Also, do you still respect him after the? Anyway.
What? After what?
No, never mind.
After B movie? I never saw B movie.
I never saw B movie either for being such huge fans of the TV show Seinfeld.
Wait, listen, you got to tell me what you were going to say. What's the other thing?
I don't think, no, I'm not going to say it. I'll tell you. I'll tell you later.
It was Kith. He was dressing up.
For the brand Kith. You still respect him after those pictures?
Yeah, I don't give a shit. Whatever. It's absurd, but I'm looking at him right now.
It's so weird.
He looks like an overgrown toddler.
You guys on Instagram,
looks like an overgrown toddler.
It's fun. I don't know. Why not?
Instagram live people, look this up. Jerry Seinfeld modeled for the brand Kith maybe a year ago, and
I will say it works.
So
he looks kind of cool. Like if you didn't know it was if you didn't know this person was Jerry Seinfeld, you're like, all right, that's kind of like a semi-successful older fella,
Well, you can also see that he clearly has he's adopted hair plugs of some sort or something like that, right?
Is that right?
Well, he was kind of going. I mean, unless he just kind of chose that hairdo.
Jerry Seinfeld's a good-looking older guy. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, sure. He is.
I don't know. You don't think of him as like a good-looking person, but like he's a good-looking guy.
Yeah,
there, I said it.
He is.
Okay.
Anyway, so what? Oh yeah.
Anyway, I disagree with you. I disagree.
Baffling to me.
Look, I do agree with you that yes, maybe athletes are making way too much money. Considering
we're not even arguing against that. I get it.
There's way more.
They're putting butts in seats. However much they're making, the industry is making off of them way much more.
But I will say this: for me, and this is why I've gotten into basketball so heavily in the past couple of years, is for me it is the ultimate release of stress. I know it can be sort of nail biting and stressful watching a game, but it allows me to escape my own personal world, and in the same way movies do, actually.
That's what drugs are for.
It's a way for, as you guys already know, Max and I don't do drugs, we don't drink. But it's a way for me to escape into another world that doesn't have to do with mine, and I can just, get it's the ultimate. It's like watching a movie that doesn't have a pre-written ending yet, and so you don't know how it's going to end.
Except the ending of it is just complete emptiness and like just arbitrary. Hey, these guys get the gold star this time, and maybe they'll get it next time.
Isn't everything arbitrary? I guess if you think about it, then
well,
what's the point of watching a movie?
A good movie has like moral themes and gives you a little better sense of your existence and life. And
that's true. I guess you get to know the characters more in a movie. I'm thinking of a movie like Rocky, for example.
You do get to know the characters well in those movies.
No,
and here's another thing about it is it. What's cool about Rocky is it doesn't end as you would expect a sports movie to end. And, okay, at this point, there's been so many Rocky or Rocky derived movies that's so in defense of Nickon, it's like, okay, how many games of basketball or boxing matches do we need to watch? It's in other words, the movies, it's finite.
When will you be satisfied?
When will you be satisfied? Okay, that's the final. I don't need to watch any more. I've seen all possible outcomes now.
Oh,
it's just going to be
fired.
But,
Jason's talking about Price is Right and how you guys are basically
it's sort of a sport.
Athlete. Well, I guess in that case, it's not shots fired. Yeah, you guys are athletes, ex pro athletes.
Okay. Well, not shots fired. That's a compliment.
Yeah,
Thanks for calling me an
Yeah.
athlete.
I misinterpreted it at first.
Well, we were on the tennis team in high school.
No, okay, but that's different. As I said, this is
we're talking
spectator.
Spectatorship.
I think sports are great to be active in and engage in because it's good for your good exercise. And it's
what
fun.
else I hate about sports spectatorship? Back to arbitrary. It's like you like all this in-group, out-group tribalism stuff that's based completely off of the fact that like, okay, you like spent a lot of time in the Bay Area, so I'm a Warriors fan, or not. I mean, I am specifically talking about you, but that's not that's not why. Like even for me, like I'm a 49ers fan, but like I don't watch any of it because it's like such a waste of my time.
Whoa. Let's get something straight here. I do not care about football. Okay.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I mean,
I'm just joking. But I don't.
I'm also a little distracted because in my search for this Jerry Seinfeld Kith thing, I've come across, this is what you guys should really Google. I've come across some genius who has photoshopped the Kith photo shoot, like him all looking cool with a baseball hat and all that kind of stuff with the puffy shirt. And
that's funny.
It's very funny.
If you guys are obviously, if you're familiar with the TV show Seinfeld, the puffy shirt is a very famous episode from the show. And it's a really funny episode. It's in the 5th season.
I think my phone is dying.
Oh crap! Max's phone.
Oh no, I'm back. No,
he's gone. Max is a goner.
I think you just got to sidle up. You got to sidle up.
Yeah, you got to sidle up. Here,
the fans will love that.
Check this out. Hold on. And we're back. Nickon, did you see that?
All right, cool. I'm back in.
All right.
Max is here too.
Yeah.
So we're back, guys.
Don't be shy.
Well, no, I have to be in front of my computer though for the Zoom.
All right, well, sit next to me,
It's going to be confusing to all of our Instagram fans.
So, guys, we're back.
Well, this is kind of hard.
You can do it.
I'll just
no, it's not. Look,
just know that I'm here, guys.
No.
I'm here.
How about just keep that lean. Then you're in both frames.
Keep that lean.
But you can't, because then I'm not going to be in my camera.
No, you are.
My
no,
Zoom.
you are. Get it?
Look, this is how I am. And this is
There
how
you
I'm
go.
going to
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
No, this doesn't work, guys.
All right. Well, let's get back into it, guys. Max, just put your hand out so you're like talking. So Max is going to be a hand.
Yeah, perfect.
So weird.
All right, what were we talking about?
So sports.
In the puffy shirt.
I just want to, for the record, Max, I do watch sports, but not as obsessively as Nicky. That's a
good
big
stuff.
problem I have about it, which is that Nicky is really obsessed with it.
Yeah, but you're supposed to be the non-partial, impartial judge.
I know. I just want to put that out there for everybody.
For those of you just tuning in, this is Splitting Hairs with Max,
sometimes?
Nicky, and Nickon, our podcast.
For those of you just tuning in, this is Splitting Hairs with Max. Hi.
I know. Cammie says we should just sit together, and that's probably
It's a little bit difficult because I have to be in front of my computer.
No, but we should both be in the same square on our computer. Anyway,
we could do that.
It's very annoying. You can't do this on your desk on your computer.
I wish Instagram were better like that, but they don't. They're not.
Max, people are going to think that you're not talking because you're not moving your mouth.
Oh, sorry.
That's
sorry.
Max talking. Yeah.
I am here talking, as you see.
Do you guys have a puppet? That would be helpful.
That would be fun.
No, but if you've ever watched the movie American Me with Edward James Olmos, there's this character named Puppy, and he goes, hello, my name is Puppet. This is my brother, Little Puppet. Like they couldn't think of like a better nickname,
for
so
him.
they're like, okay, this is Little Puppet.
That's funny.
Anyway, so sports. Look, I just think my argument trumps all. To be honest, it's a major stress reliever. It takes me away.
There are more constructive ways to relieve stress.
It takes me away from my world of.
What about drawing? What about picking up a hobby that allows
I
you
do want to
just kind
mention
of-
it's mindless. It's mindless in a lot of ways.
drawing can be mindless.
I mean, if you're not a good drawer, I guess.
No, you can be a good drawer. You just space out.
I
You
do
just
wanna
draw
say-
for the sake of drawing. For
That's
the
true,
moment.
Can
but
I interject here? I just want to say it's so mindless that Nicky, that's not true that it's mindless. Nicky, you obsess over it. Actually, in fact,
That's true.
And I feel like because you're obsessing over it, it means that you're not dealing with the stress that's in your life in a great way. I feel.
No, your hand's not even framed.
What?
Sorry, it is. No, you're right.
No, I did.
I was
I
looking
was
at the
there.
wrong frame. There's so many
Oh,
frames to look
sorry.
at.
I don't.
No, it's- yeah.
I don't think so, Max. I think that you listen to podcasts or you watch these celebrity interviews sometimes that
Not as obsessively. Not as obsessively.
look, it's my one thing where I just get to, and it really is with basketball, and I do watch tennis too, but obviously tennis is not. You go through the Grand Slam tournaments and they're only 2 weeks at a time, so then there's only 4 a year, so we don't watch those as obsessively. But
You know what it is for me? I already have such a dearth of time to do all the stuff that I want to do in a given day or a week that the idea of spending even 10 minutes just like watching something that has nothing to do with my life and like doesn't like give me any kind of intellectual or any kind of insight into the human condition.
Well, the human condition.
actually,
What
here's
about
what
the physical condition of the human
physical
condition?
So this is a
go
good
to the
art.
gym.
Nicky, this is so.
It does
so-
give you insight. It makes you realize, like,
Oops, sorry.
do you not are you not amazed at how
It's kind of
superhuman in a way these athletes are? It's
Yeah.
like it's a marvel to see how
Good, Nicky. It's a good argument.
how humans how physically advanced we could become.
It's like
you
the
know?
pinnacle of the human physical condition, and we're seeing it play out right before our eyes. These peak athletes they're at the top of their physical condition, and who is going to win out of that? That is interesting to see. And
I guess to some
I do
people,
watch
but not
tennis.
to me.
I do
I
watch
don't
the
find
Grand
it
Slams.
interesting at all.
And-
I will say, like, if you want to talk about that kind of stuff, I do find a lot of individual sport, like skating and surfing and like that kind of stuff. I think the stuff they do there is very cool because
Why?
like,
Because it's
there's more
insane.
to my. No, it just feels like more of an art. Like it's a combination of art and using your body to do physical stuff.
Look,
Whereas
I
sports-
will say,
Sarah, I
Nickon-
agree with Sarah. The whole idea of like the tribalism, I think, is the thing that frustrates me the most.
Okay,
Because
I've got
it's
two things.
Well-
I got two things to say
so
about this.
arbitrary.
Last
And all
night-
it does is feed the worst, like some of the worst parts about being a human. Which
Okay,
is
Yes, but it
yes,
also
yes,
feeds
tribalism
other
and
things
us
that are
versus
good.
them.
I do
We're
want to
on the
mention
same
that
team just because we grew up in the same area, and it's like, yes, let's, whatever.
No, not necessarily
sorry.
because you grew up in the same area.
yes,
But look, I got two things to say about this, Nickon. First, last night we came home and I turned on the Warriors game. They were playing the Bucks, and it was so exciting how down to
You've
the wire.
already lost me.
It was so down to the wire, and it was so exciting that Max was even getting into it. It was like watching a really close, like a movie, a sports movie that, and you know what?
Except the only thing
hero
that
for me
ever
prevailed.
happened-
And you saw Stephen Curry just channel this superhuman quality about himself that you were like, wow, this was truly an art, how he was just able to win the game through
It is-
sheer willpower.
it is pretty. I will say
when
yes,
the odds were stacked against him, he got his team over the
his
over the hurdle.
willpower and his superhuman ability to be able to do that under pressure. It is pretty amazing.
Take you seriously.
It's really
pretty
funny.
Amazing because it's pretty crazy. I will say in defense of Nicky, it is pretty crazy. He was just within a second.
Hold on, time out. Just real quick.
Out with it. Max's hand.
This is Max's hand talking. He's not talking like this. He's going like he's talking and then he moves his hand.
He can't do both.
It's just my hand is thinking and now I'm okay. All right. Well, okay. So this is what I'm trying to say is that it is pretty crazy. It is pretty crazy how, I mean, yes, under the wire, he's able to be so clutch, as they say, and able to pull it out. It's like a magic trick, actually. And you've seen tricks a lot of times. You see people do it, but you're amazed. It is true that you are kind of amazed how he's able to do that every time. Well, not every time, but it is kind of neat. But that's in defense of Nicky, but there are things I do agree with Nickon. There is a tribalism that people get so obsessed with that is, at the end of the day, meaningless. For instance, here's a good example. And this is a good topic.
So you're just jumping around to different points.
Okay,
but back to the thing you said before. The only thing that ever happens at the end of one of these games is that a team wins and a team loses. It's the same thing every time. Who cares?
Okay, but
for those of you just
hold on. In defense, hold on, Nickon. Then you can say that about any Disney movie if you're going to.
Like
put it down.
Very good, Max. Very good.
You know
how it's going to end.
Let me finish.
Sorry.
You're going to go down to the basics of any plot.
Journey.
There's only like 7. They talk about all movies or all stories having 7 archetypical stories, and they're all the same. They all end the same way. There's only going to be one of the 7 endings. But it's just how it's done, how you tell the story. So
this is
good versus evil. Okay,
there's going to be a stretch. This is a stretch.
Look,
I don't
for those of you just tuning in, this is Splitting Hairs with Max, Nicky, Nickon. We're talking about sports.
Stop. What is this? This is emptiness. You know that there's there's the 7 archetypical story structures. Sure. But you don't actually believe that, I've seen one instance of each of the 7 story structures, so there's no reason to ever watch anything ever again.
That's my point.
So what's the point? That's exactly the point of watching sports.
That was the point.
You've seen it happen before, but
it is different.
It is different. It is different, and you like seeing that every season.
But I'm using that as a devil's advocate, Nickon, because part of me does agree with you in that instance is that it isn't as
just get in here.
It isn't as profound and intellectually stimulating as a movie or yes. At the end of the day, it doesn't really change my life so much. Whether or not one team wins or something like that. It's not as it's not as stimulating, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, I think we're just going to keep talking around each other because.
Okay,
I do want to put it. No.
Okay, I wanted to
just
say,
to get into a new idea.
Well, the tribalism thing. We didn't address that.
Go ahead.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Nickon, that sometimes these sort of picking your team, it is so arbitrary, and
as Jerry Seinfeld said, there is
you're just rooting for a jersey.
You're
essentially
just rooting for the jersey. Actually, it doesn't really.
Right,
but
you're rooting for clothing.
But I will say.
Kip's clothing, that is.
For me, teaching these teenagers, it is a point of connection for me and the kids, and for me to be able to talk about basketball with them.
Right, but it's a superficial connection.
But I can relate.
On more interesting
they can see things. That I can relate to them somehow, and it's a gateway into getting more deep into their psyche and their lives, and connecting them on a deeper level.
That's true.
You always like having a gate. In the same way that for me, talking about movies with somebody or my favorite TV shows is a gateway to talking about some deeper issues.
Incorrect. I would say movies are more. They, as Nickon had mentioned, they reflect something deeper about the human condition. I think on a mental level and even I guess your emotions do get involved with sports, but. yeah, on a mental level, they're just a little bit more intellectually stimulating, as I said, generally. And so when you're talking about movies with somebody, that can reflect something about somebody's personality, actually. So I feel like you can get a better sense. You can get a better sense of somebody talking to them about a shared common movie that you like. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're just. I mean,
We're talking around in circles.
I think it's a yes. Okay. Yeah. It gets you emotionally engaged and all that kind of stuff, but it's a wasted emotion. It's like you're basically, there's this mirage of something that's important that you get all worked up about.
I agree.
And then at the end of it, somebody wins and somebody loses, and you're left completely empty, and you've gotten no closer to figuring out any of life's problems.
You're totally right.
And you've wasted 3 hours of your day.
I just want to bring up the movie, The Purple Rose of Cairo.
Okay.
Actually, I can't, because if you haven't seen it, I don't want to ruin the ending. Never mind.
Oh, get out of here. Come on.
We'll just say spoiler
That's a Woody
alert.
Allen movie, right?
All right, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen The Purple Rose of Cairo, have you seen it, Nickon?
I have. I don't remember anything about it, but I've seen it.
So what seals the deal for that movie for me, what makes it really good, is the way end of the movie, where Mia Farrow, she has a horrible home life, and she builds up all this hope that she can escape it, and ultimately realizing, or at the end of the movie, she can't escape her wrecked home life, and she's married to a horrible husband. But at the end of the movie, she still goes to the movies to escape that home life. Watching movies is her escape, and it has it, and it's a movie. It's movies she's seen already too, you know. But it's just a way for her to tune out the atrocities of her life, and I think that sports is in this. I can relate that to the same way. I've seen you see this stuff happen over and over again, and every season it's basically a variation on the same thing. But again, it's a way for me to tune out the stresses of my life, and that is the point I'm started with, and this point I'm ending with. I'm sticking to that.
Well, to that end, I'm happy that you found sports and that sports have found you. But I, for one,
and one for all.
I do want to mention one other thing.
Hey, where's the hand? It's just like an empty hand.
I do want to mention one thing is that sports do they do a lot for the economy of a city, actually. So if your team does well for the economy, does well, it brings a lot of people out. It spurs economic growth.
Even bad teams, like the Mets, right? Aren't the Mets bad? But like they still have like
the Mets are not bad, right? I don't think. Right?
They're not bad.
No,
but isn't
the classics?
Well, or the Knicks? They're bad, right? Or they used to.
They until this season they were bad, but they're actually really good this season, surprisingly.
But
you're right.
I guess my point is like you can even be a bad team, but like if you get like enough people to rally around the team and like kind of commiserate. People enjoy the commiseration of like having such a.
There is something communal about it, which is kind of nice. I will say.
Well, have you ever seen the movie Buffalo '66? Right?
Interrupted me.
No.
I was just going to say going to. There is also a difference to when you're actually going.
Now he's gesticulating instead of talking.
when you're actually going to a game in person. When you're actually going to a game in person. There is, aside from the game itself, the fact that there's this communal thing that everyone's involved with. It makes me feel good. I know what your argument is, Nickon.
Is that it's empty and superficial?
No, it's not. It's kind of cool to go to this structure, this stadium that is built for this sport, and you amaze and gaze at it in awe about. Oh, look at this architectural feat that they created for this game, and look at the way everyone is. It's beautiful, actually. It's kind of a neat thing.
Max is right
to gaze upon.
For example,
I mean, I went to a baseball game a long time ago, and I didn't even pay attention. No, I remember going to a
You've gone to many baseball games.
Sure,
Case in point, you've been to one. You've been to them. We've seen them all.
No, but I went with friends.
You've napped in one baseball stadium. You've napped in them all.
No, that's not true.
It's
that's
a
not
communal
true.
thing.
I didn't see any. I didn't even pay attention to the game. It was just fun being there with friends. But we're all cheering. I don't know. It was just this.
No, Max, let me bring up a better point for you.
Okay. Sure.
Who's for you? What are you talking about? This is your case.
It is your case.
When we were in college, going to the football games, and I don't even really care for football or watching it at least. I like playing it, but
that was fun. Those football
going
games.
to the football games, it really is. You go there and you're with. If you sit in the student section, everybody that
This
goes
is
to the same
actually
school.
a great point from my side. Please
You're
go ahead.
all-
You guys went to Cal, correct? Big,
Yeah, but we
big
don't. We
football.
call it UC Berkeley. Thank you very much.
No,
Sorry.
people do call it Cal.
Big
know
football school.
It is.
It is.
UC Santa Barbara, where I went, we didn't have a football team, and I am so glad.
Would
We
you have an
didn't.
ultimate frisbee team?
Probably, but no, I mean, we had other teams, but I'm so glad we didn't have a football team because that's such a waste of every weekend.
Look,
No, it is fun, Nickon.
Nickon,
It was
if
fun to
you
go to those
go
games.
and you sit with all the other students, you're collectively rooting together for the same thing. And
It's completely empty.
it's kind of like a school pride thing, It's a lot of fun, and you all can band together. Seemingly unrelated people can band together under one common goal, and that's to win this game. And you celebrate together. It's a lot of fun. And
It's
I don't
fabricated.
I don't even care about football.
It's That's my point. It's completely fabricated, arbitrary tribalism for the sake of tribalism because it speaks to this inherent thing that we've had with us for millennia, which is a tribalistic instinct.
Sure.
And it's I think it's unhealthy. I don't know.
No,
I think
but
we're just
it
repeating
is-
ourselves now.
It's healthy in
Or
a way
I am.
that
I think we are. Yeah, we are.
it's kind of adding a positivity to. You don't have to take it as obsessively. A good example is the Bill Buckner incident for people that are in the know about that.
Speaking of the Mets and the Red
He's the
Sox.
guy that caught the ball, right, or something.
Missed
Didn't
the
he?
ball. It
Oh, he
went
missed
under
the
his
ball.
legs,
Red Sox.
and it was
was on the Red Sox.
Oh, right.
It was part of the Red
There's a
Sox
Curb Enthusiasm
curse,
episode.
But people hated him in the city for years, and it's just not.
Yeah, didn't
it's
you
just
need to
the
get
game.
security, a security detail?
Yeah, it's that is the part I hate about the whole thing. Is
There was
why
also-
are you taking it so seriously in that respect?
Yeah, sorry.
And I will agree with you. Some people take sports way too seriously. I had this roommate in college. He was a San Diego Chargers fan, and every Sunday it was a bad team, and every Sunday he would be so depressed when they lost, and you couldn't talk to him for the whole day. And me and my other roommate, we were like, God, Tim is really annoying today. Like, why is he taking this so seriously?
Exactly.
It's so. And look, I never take basketball that seriously that it's going to really eat up the rest of it's going to make me depressed for the whole day or anything. But in the moment, I think it's fun to watch. But, I think we are going around in circles.
I think we should kind of wind down here, though. Is there any final comments you'd like to make? Final closing arguments here.
Yeah,
guys?
closing arguments. Go for it. You want to go or me?
I'll start. Look, for me, it's an escape, just like movies and TV shows that I've watched over and over again. I've seen Frasier and Seinfeld and Cheers so many times over and over again, and The Simpsons seasons 1 through 8 so many times.
I love that. Yeah.
I still rewatch it because I get something out of it every time. And for me,
I heard you
watching
you like a lot of episodes from season 13 too.
Whoa, that is not true. That is not true. Don't lie to the audience here.
I heard you're a big fan of the contemporary Simpsons seasons.
But in the same way, I like watching basketball every season. Yes, it can get repetitive, rooting for the same thing, but I get something a little bit different out of it every time, and that's what makes it fun.
All right. Well,
It's an escape.
to me, I get that it's an escape. I just think there are more constructive ways to have an escape that speak to our better natures or our better characteristics as humans, rather than our more toxic ones like tribalism and superficial sense of connectedness. And yeah, I just, for me, it's just like kind of a waste of time. Like I'd rather, there are like 1,000 other things I'd rather just sit and mindlessly watch than sports. But hey, maybe that just means we're different.
And those are the final words, ladies and gentlemen, on this edition of Splitting Hairs with Max and Nicky.
And Nickon.
And Nickon.
yeah.
Sorry.
Come
oh my
on,
God.
What am I, chopped liver?
I am so sorry. Well, you don't like sports, so that's
Well,
too bad. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
The hand is not used to.
The hand hasn't been involved in this since.
Yeah.
No, excuse me. I don't know. I haven't ended an episode in a long time. Actually, Nicky usually has ended it, but thank you for joining us on another edition of Splitting Hairs with Max, Nicky, and Nickon. If you liked and heard what you if you liked what you heard and saw today, please rate and review us at wherever you listen to podcasts or wherever you watch podcasts.
And subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/@splittinghairs podcast. If I'm not correct? If that's
not correct? If that is correct.
Anyway, follow us on Instagram @splittinghairs podcast.
Thanks for joining us, and please tune in next time.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.